Namaste, beautiful beings. This is Belinda Pearl. Happy New Year to you. This year already seems to be like the first week is almost done, so it feels like we're moving really quickly. Hopefully we can slow some time down so that we can really savor into the experiences of this year. I believe that this year is about deeper transformation. I was giving a story earlier on, or sharing a story about 2020 was the idea of having a band-aid on like the hairy part of your arm. And when you start to peel the band-aid back and you have this anticipation of this discomfort, this painfulness of peeling that band-aid off, because you already can start to feel the pull on your hairs and you've just tugged on that first hair on your arm. And either it's like you have to rip it off or you're just peeling it off like a little bit at a time. And so that was like 2020 was about this, like starting to peel the band-aid off. Now we've peeled over that first hair and it's pulled, maybe it's even pulled the hair out. And now we're getting to that second hair. So this is 2021, where we have this choice and this opportunity to really dive deeper into that essence of transformation. And earlier on, I was sharing, I call it crystalline healing. There's a healing experience of channeling, healing through, as well as using different sort of Reiki modalities and sound healing modalities and just energy and prayers to create a healing experience for people. And I was just seeing, like, as we're moving through this portal, we are given this choice and this opportunity, and guidance was given that we are seeing the world still through these older spectacles, if you will. We are not quite ready to transform, and it's because it's based on our free will. Either we can step into our transformation and say, here I go for it, but the transformation that we're going through is taking us to a place that we've never even thought about, never experienced before. It's a completely new way of being, a new realm of being, a new dimension of being for all humans. But there's something that we keep thinking, like, this is the picture and this is how the world's going to be in this year and next year. And so we're formulating these ideas, but we should think more so bigger than what we're actually picturing in our heads. If you are picturing, like, you know, a heaven on earth type of situation, take that image and then even see if you can imagine beyond that. How can that be even greater? So there's this energy of something that our mind, our consciousness is still kind of stuck in this old way. We're still holding on to this fear, and this is this choice now this year, if you will. Are you going to rip the band-aid off? Are you going to just pull one hair out at a time? So that's kind of the analogy, pulling one hair at a time. We're going to rip the band-aid off. And this is guidance. This isn't coming from me. This is what was given to me as a vision. This is what I'm sharing with you next. So they're showing me this bits and pieces, like, are we going to pull it? Are we going to put it one by one? Or are we going to just rip it off and go for it? And then if you had something, a scratch underneath there, can you imagine that there's not even a scar? Or maybe the skin there itself has completely transformed into something that you didn't even imagine that was even possible. So this is where we are. Where are you, and what side, I don't want to say what side of the fence you want to play, because I don't want to have that division, but where are you in your mindset, and how do you want to shift that and change that? Because this really is great opportunity. And we did this spiritual activation, the Aquarian activation, the cosmic, great cosmic star conjunction, where we've been saying, okay, now the dawning of the Aquarian Age is really upon us. We're moving through this even more, I want to use the word effectively. And there's dates that are coming up now in this year too that will even push us even more. And then there's still a couple of dates coming in the next couple of years where we start to really fully transform into this Aquarian energy and this Aquarian age and this new one-heartedness, this new cosmic heart that's here to support us. So with further ado, let me do a little reading, and may this reading be healing. I may pull from a couple of decks, I'm not quite sure yet, but let us see. So if you have an intention for this year, or maybe you can ask yourself, how can I heal even more deeper than what I think I've been healing? Because maybe we think that we're on a path, and maybe this path isn't even the right path. I won't say the right or wrong path, but maybe there's something greater waiting for you that you haven't even imagined. So this idea of keeping imagining And they're reminding me this is this year of greater transformation on a quantum level. So let us see where this energy wants to take us. Let us take a deep breath in together. Breathe all the breath out. Allow yourself to settle into the seat of this perfect place where you sit here with me. And let us see what guidance has for us. And this is interesting. So it says awakening. And I was sharing earlier on in this crystalline healing that where we think we've awakened, this awakening energy is far more beyond. And actually, in fact, the colors from the card that was taken out in the crystalline healing was the same colors as this, exactly the same colors as this sort of golden, yellow, white light emanating. And then there was also these shadows, and then there was light pieces. There was this yin yang type of energy too. But this idea that our head hasn't even contemplated, even be able to think of. We don't even have the consciousness to think of what is beyond this reality. And so maybe we can truly, fully keep awakening in every moment, like keep drifting out of this idea of any thoughts that we have or what this experience is supposed to be, or even our own definition of awakening. Maybe there's something more so. There's a 2 on the card, so it's going to take a lot of faith and trust for us to get past our old ways of thinking. Even if you think that you're on the right path, or you've been doing all your spiritual practice, maybe it's even a deepening of that. It's going beyond what you think that you need to do. What is the right thing to do is keep diving deeper and deeper and having no ideas of what it is that you think that we should be doing. There's this almost snipping away of all ideas so we can become empty of mind. Maybe that's the true part of our awakening. That too as well is about like meditation and silencing in and coming within and allowing ourselves to find our own inner equilibrium, our own inner equilibrium that frees us from these old ideas that tie us into like we can't get past this way of our being, that there's something more that is being offered to us. What is being offered to you? How is it that we can find this connection without feeling separated from anything? How can we find ourselves fully connected to this part of our soul that's really been awakening and inviting us to come deeper into ourselves as well? There's a lot of energy that wants to come through with this. There's also this idea about the old paradigm is that, you know, the masculine aspect is this sword shape, right? That we're, the triangle that points up is this masculine pyramid shape, is this the masculine aspect. But there's idea that's been introduced to me about the divine feminine is coming in through this sword shaped too, that this is her ancient way of communicating with us. And in the card there's this upward facing pyramid too. So for me personally, from the new old ancient consciousness that's been shared with me, that's awakened me to a new way of thinking, a new paradigm, is that this aspect of our minds being awakened so much by the divine feminine that's within us, that wants to come through, that wants to ignite our imagination, ignite our consciousness, that we can move into something that's greater, that hasn't even been imagined. So maybe you can offer to yourself new opportunities to really stand into your power. This is them speaking, like, how can you stand in your power? How can you bring that empowerment part of yourself through into the world? How can you, with every breath that you breathe, with every step that you take, become a healer in you, just your movements? I'm sharing earlier today about just breathing. It's such a great technology, and this is the Aquarian Age. All the tools that you need are within you, and that your breath, or just slowly quietening yourself down or imagining, is part of our healing technologies. And these technologies will be amplified here too, because it's a new form, a new way of being. As we see where people are so reliant on these old mechanisms, these old technologies, this Aquarian Age technology is something that, again, we haven't even imagined, that really wants to come through. And in one way, even though we have free will, it will just delay, like if we are reconnecting or feeling resistant, I would say, rather than reconnecting, is feeling resistant to the changes that are upon us. It's that band-aid where you're pulling one hair off at a time. So let us get rid of that old band-aid, just let's rip it off, and let's open our minds to places that we haven't quite yet explored. That's the technologies that want to come through, and we'll see, like, if you are so connected to that old paradigm, your resistance will be more painful, if you will. Where if you find yourself freeing yourself, opening your mind and diving deep into things that you past your imagination, that's the doorway. And they reminded me that that's the doorway that is coming for us. We may take our time to get there, and that's that band-aid, one hair at a time. Or maybe we'll get there a little quicker when we abandon these old ways and realize that my breath, my imagination is as great a technology that can bring inspiration and healing to all of humanity in so many different ways. So hopefully that made some sense. So from my heart to yours, may you always be blessed. Namaste. And again, this is Belinda Pearl, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. And you can find me at belindapearl.com. Namaste.